with Dr. Kyle at Integrative Wellness, and tomorrow is the big day. I'm doing my transfer, which means they're going to get one of my already frozen embryos and putting back inside of me. I have been taking progesterone, through shots for a few days already, about a week actually, and estrogen through pills. And then we were talking about this a few weeks ago, and Dr. Kyle suggested, for the game plan, to do this treatment that I'm not going to try to say what it is because I'll probably get it wrong, to the day before transfer and before he goes away to Ireland to get your...
I'm going for more education, more seminars. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So before transfer, because it's gonna help, hopefully, make the chances a little higher when it comes to the transfer day. So explain.
Exactly. So what we're going to be doing today is a cranial sacral therapy session. So what cranial sacral therapy is and what it deals with is our cranial sacral system. And what that is are all the bones in the head, the face, the spine, and the sacrum. All of those bones are lined by a thin tissue layer called the dura. What that does is provides some structure and support for those joints, but also is a protective mechanism for our brain, our spine, as well as our cerebrospinal fluid. Now, our cerebrospinal fluid, which is also part of the craniosacral system, circulates throughout the body, similar to the way that blood does, but it has its own path, it's different speed, that kind of thing. And what it does is that provides nourishment and information to the brain and the spine. And whenever the body experiences trauma or stress, whether it be physical, chemical, energetic, or emotional, it can cause what craniosacral therapy deems as adhesions in the dura. Basically like scar tissue in the skin. So whenever that happens, it limits the either position or motion of the bones in the craniosacral system. And then that also does not provide the brain and the spine with the proper nourishment and information, and the body can experience symptoms. So what we do is we do an assessment. And then the treatment itself is we use a series of very light and gentle hand placements and hand motions to release the adhesions in the dura by using the bones kind of as levers. And what that does is then that properly restores the position, the structure of those bones, their proper range of motion, and reestablishes cerebrospinal fluid flow. Not only that, it helps with circulation in general. Mm-hmm. One of the things today that's going to be very, very important, that's going to help support the success of the transfer, is it takes the body out of our sympathetic stress response. It really calms everything down. When we're in our sympathetic stress response, one of the contributors to our body not being ready for conception is, if we're in our stress response, it's trying to protect our completely vital organs. So in our head and in our physiology, if our body perceives that we are under a certain amount of stress, its priority is not to create another life, so it doesn't allow the environment to be as supportive for that.
That's cool, because again, with the whole everything going through and medication and trying to get ready for this, of course you get stressed out. So I thought it was going to be more particularly for blood flow, but I guess it's more than that. So it's kind of align everything and blood flow and make sure that everything is properly in place, kind of like put the pieces of the puzzle, string everything
for
out.
Sure. Yeah. So globally, what we're going to do today is basically just balance out Carolina's system, give her body a chance to basically, kind of calm down and set the proper environment. But then also there is going to be specific parts of the treatment that are going to work with the structure and position of the pelvis. There'll be some work that's going to support the uterus as well. So we'll be doing many things today in one treatment. The treatment itself, based on the very light and gentle nature of it, if you were to watch a whole treatment, it's pretty boring. It doesn't look like a lot is going on.
So maybe we can record 2 minutes of it, but then that's it.
I mean, you're welcome to watch the whole thing. But that's also the really, really cool part. Even though it is very light and gentle, there's a lot of results and effects that you'll notice after we're finished. So we're going to do like a little before and after as well. And so that's one of the cool parts about it.
And Dr. Kai was my chiropractor through my pregnancy with Sebastian, and I was like, I want to go through chiropractic treatments, I already knew that, but then when I came to him, he was very gentle, like he mentioned. I don't know if I can compare this to what I did.
This will be even more gentle.
But and I still felt a difference. So even though you might not, you're like, oh my gosh, he's not like cracking everything up. He knows what he's doing. He's, you don't need, being aggressive.
And chiropractic would be beneficial in this time frame as well. But I feel globally today and the time frame, I think this would be perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start.
Let's do it. So what I'm doing first, so this is part of the assessment. So as the cerebrospinal fluid circulates throughout the body, it puts the body through, it's called flexion and extension. So what I'm feeling for is the top of the ankles, the knees, the hips, the ribs, and the shoulders. I'm feeling if that is equal, side to side, if it's even, if it's smooth, if it's rough, if it's as fast or as slow as it's supposed to be. And that lets me know a baseline, just in general, if there's certain areas in the body where stuff is going on. It's not specific yet. We'll get more to the specificity when we do other stuff. But it just lets me know if, kind of where to look, and how the body is, right now. Yeah.
Hands.
Where it's comfortable. Yeah. I can do that. That was part of the assessment. Now before the actual treatment starts, so the body has 5 diaphragms. So I have respiratory diaphragm, I have pelvic, thoracic, one right, kind of under the chin here, one right behind the head. So we work with those and open them up to relax those. So as the recirculation happens, that there's no other sort of like adhesions or roadblocks. So we'll do that first, and then the actual treatment starts. And then when the treatment starts, we'll start in the pelvis. There'll be a couple hand placements there, and then everything else in the head and the face. As everything starts moving around and rebalancing, the body undergoes what they call release signs. So some people feel warmer in that area; they'll feel more heat. Some people twitch, kind of like if you wake yourself up from a sleep. Some people let out a breath, kind of through the lips, not like a normal breath. It's different, so you can kind of tell the difference between the two. There's what's called a therapeutic pulse, where you can, kind of like if you feel your blood pulse, you can feel the cerebrospinal fluid start to flow in that area. It's different from the blood in that it's slower, it's not as fast, and how the blood is bump, 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 bump. Cerebrospinal fluid is just like singular, it's just bump, 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 so you can distinguish between the two. And then there's a sensation called softening, where the body just kind of like lets go a little bit. Yeah. So you might experience any of that. So if you do, it's normal. It's total. Yeah. I remember the first time I did it with somebody. She was very reactive, and she was a twitcher. But I didn't prompt her. I didn't tell her that could happen. She's like, "Oh my God, what was that?" I was like, "No, it's okay, it's okay." So now I let everybody know.
Okay.
And then once I get to the head and the face, that's a lot of where the calming kind of really, really starts. Some people fall asleep. Some people fall asleep. That's okay.
That sounds amazing.
Okay. And you might not, but
yeah.
you might. All right, so I'm going to kind of slide under here. Yeah, perfect. And then back down. Good. Okay, so what I've done already is the assessment, and we've worked to open up Carolina's diaphragms to set the stage and calm her system down before the actual treatment begins. So treatment is going to begin in the pelvis. So what I'm going to do is first, it's called Sickle Decompression. So my bottom hand is going to be under her pelvis and gently bringing her sacrum a little traction back and forth and up and down. This is an exaggeration. It's not this much, but just to show you what's going to happen. And then my top hand is under her lumbar spine, supporting that. Then after that, what we do is it's called iliac gapping. So these are your iliac bones, so your outer pelvis bones. So my bottom hand stays under the sacrum, and my top hand comes out and kind of like a pair of clothespins maybe, using the bones to open them up or gap them in the back. And then after that, my bottom hand again stays underneath the sacrum. My top hand comes right to the top of the neck, right to the base of the skull. And then what we do is what's called rock and glide. So what we're doing is we're addressing the whole length of the dural tube, which lines the inside of our spinal column. And that is a gentle rock glide motion to really calm the system down. Most people feel very, very calm and quiet and sometimes sleepy at this point. And all of this, again, to help balance out the pelvis structurally, but also will release some tension from any of the soft tissue, allow the organs within the pelvic bowl to be in their proper position, bring blood flow, and make sure the whole body is nice and calm and relaxed and ready for conception.
Yay! So first of all, thank you, Dr. Kyle.
My pleasure.
We were talking about it, like I did feel some twitching, and before he started, he kind of told me that some things that I could have as like a response to my body, and I did feel some twitching. Even one time, like my leg was like actually really hard. I probably snored too.
Sure, I'll sleep a little bit. That's okay.
Twice was. But yeah, but I definitely feel relaxed and
perfect.
yeah, that's I think I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
And even when he was working on the pelvis area, of course, like his hands are warm, so you're gonna feel a warmth, but it was a different kind of warmth. And then when he came up to my, and doing like I think the assessment, right, or something, I don't know. I can still feel the warmth like going through pelvis to my, the whole like top of my body. It was yeah, definitely. So he didn't just stay where his hands were. That's what I'm trying to say. Definitely felt different. So.
Yeah. So Carolina responded very, very well, and we're very excited. And
me
tomorrow's
too.
the day, and it's gonna go perfect. It's gonna be great.
So now, what would be the next steps? Like me getting pregnant, what would you recommend? Like now I'm lined up, all online. Like how far in a pregnancy do we see you again, or if somebody's interested, how does that work?
I see clients at any stage in pregnancy. For you after your transfer, it'll be a couple weeks just to check and see how everything went. But I've seen clients again preconception, just after conception. So really at any stage, and depending on the situation, what's going on, we treat accordingly. Sometimes that's craniosacral therapy, sometimes it's chiropractic, sometimes it's just a sit-down consultation to talk about progress or nutrition or classes or testing or all that sort of stuff. We got you covered at any stage.
Any levels.
Yep.
And all the stages. Okay, so thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I'll see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.